Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, welcome to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show, presented by Scott K. Nichols and State Farm Insurance. And now, here's your hosts, Brandon Reef and Jonathan Birdsong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio, episode number 246. I'm your host, Brandon Reef. We've got a big show this evening for you. We've got a good show for you this evening. It's probably got to be the longest show. There's not much going on in the world of sports besides some big topics, college basketball, the NFL, the NBA, a couple quick hitters and such. So we'll be taking some calls tonight with that. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, my main man, Jonathan Birdsong. JB, how are you?
What's going on, man? You know, this is the same old thing with me, Brandon. You know, living in this Circle City and this Jekyll and Hyde weather, man. But everybody knows that's kind of how I judge. You know what I'm saying? My Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? But like, hey, man, what's going on? Did you give the official rundown yet or not?
I have, yes.
Okay, but hey, dude, let's get into it, man. What's the first hot topic we talking about tonight?
Let's dive right into the NBA All-Star game from this All-Star weekend from this past weekend. By the way, I'm hearing some background on your end.
Hold on, give me a second, and I'll clear it up.
Yep. So while he's doing that, I will talk and let you know that NBA All-Star weekend was this past weekend. I hardcore poo-pooed on the NBA dunk contest, and enough to make it die, to kill it and everything. Yes, Matt McClung won. Yes, he had 4 dunks. It all took all 4 dunks. They're all 50s or whatnot. He stepped it up. But other than him, the other 3 kind of is a little out there. There's no style into it, but Matt McClung, he let the dunk contest survive for another year. That way, then I can critique it next year when it's here in Indianapolis. Dunk contest, I was like, okay, it's good to see him win. Okay. I've seen him dunk in high school. I've seen his highlight tapes. So it wasn't surprising to me what he could do. But, yeah, we'll start off with the dunk contest first. I was wrong. It wasn't the complete flop, but thank you, Mac McClung, for saving it for at least one more year.
I don't know, Brandon. The dunk contest. That was a pleasant surprise. It probably would have been a better story if McClung wasn't caught between the G League and 10-day contracts, that type of with actual a prominent figure on an NBA roster. Even like since 7-6 man, you know what I mean. And right now he's just not that, but he's good enough to not. To get a call up, and like I said, he made the most of it, made it very exciting. I know there was a lot of grumpy bumps. I don't know why, Brandon. Like there's no way after watching his performance, man. He got some extra. He got like the pump and like the reverse. Like dude, like that was he went out and won it versus the competition. So you have to kind of tip your hat to him there. When you think about 3-point contest.
Game time.
Lillard, I mean, it just turned into Dame time. Of all the All-Stars, and I know we'll talk about the game here in a second about that Sunday fiasco. Of all the All-Stars, there are very few, and I'm gonna put Lillard in that category that kind of took this weekend with some seriousness, and he was one of them. So, like again, you're in the contest. You're not there to claim. You're there to, you're there to try to win it, man. And you're there to, because, correct me wrong, man, All-Star, like, when we start talking about the greats, yes, we talk about All-Star championships. I mean, we talk about championships and, like, how many they won, how many times a player or teams went to the finals. But we also talk about, like, who's ever been an All-Star MVP or who's ever been to, like, X amount of All-Star games or actually been voted off. And, like, again, man, Dame Lillard, Dame time. He showed up and showed out, man. And I don't necessarily think it was a 3-point contest, at least from one for the ages. But again, he went out there. Buddy Hield, like again, he could probably like that one those last two shots, you probably want to have those back, right? But like, because he was on automatic, his damn self, man. But the 3-point contest and the dunk contest had enough suspense and interest for me, Brandon. But that All-Star game on Sunday, not so much.
I will say I did enjoy the skills challenge this year. The three different rounds that they had for that, so I did appreciate that. I just wish a couple of teams would have tried a little bit harder than what they did with it. But overall, it is what it is. Now the game. First, let's start from the beginning. The picking teams. I just kept waiting. I turned it on at 7:30, ready to think we're gonna get national anthems. We're gonna get the teams in about 5 minutes, and we're gonna go play. It was damn near 9 o'clock by the time that game started, John. And the way they picked the teams was, I just felt like there was a lot of dead air that they kept trying to fill with. Let's just pick the teams. You don't need to go to Barkley and Kenny and Charles, and then they had the hot mic going on during so you could hear both, and it was annoying as that. The teams are all right. Like how they did the reserves first and then the starters. That way, nobody felt like they were the last one, even though Lauri Markkanen was the last one. Don't get me wrong. The Joker knew that he wasn't the only one that was up there still. He said, "Well, if I didn't know he was there, I wouldn't have done him like that," and just went up there and said, "I'm on your team." Nah, Joker, we know how big of an asshole you are. So they can't fool me for once. The game itself, John, one of the worst games I've seen. There was no trying even in the fourth quarter try times. We got half court shots being thrown up, 3/4 short shots being thrown up. No defense. I sent you the epic picture of just the 8 players standing on one side just together talking.
That was the worst isolation. What was it? It was Jaylen Brown versus
against Tatum.
Jason Tatum. You know what I mean? I guess it's something that the Celtics organization probably sees in practice. You know what I mean? Every time they practice, but no, man, that's just not. It wasn't basketball, and actually, Brandon was like the lowest rated All-Star weekend altogether, and that just kind of encompasses like who wasn't in the dunk contest and who was in the dunk. You know, nobody knew who Matt McClure unless you were a hardcore basketball nerd like myself or you. You know what I'm saying? Who he was or where he went to school or anything like that until he won a dunk contest. You know what I mean? So. Also, I mean, Brandon, also, you know, NBA got an issue. You know, you don't want to go into I mean, you know, we seen what happened with the Pro Bowl and how it's kind of been reduced to it's been reduced to flag football to where like now teams and guys, personal trainers are telling guys, hey man, you don't want to play an All-Star. Well, the All-Star game is still important, but Brandon, they got. I mean. It's not an entertainment, and that's kind of that's kind of how I think they made it an entertainment game. And in the years past, with a lot of fans, it hasn't been that. And like I said, Sunday, that's not that was more like Rock and Jock, not an NBA All-Star.
And how about Jason Tatum being the world's biggest ball hog? There to get that is one record I feel like you should not want to set is the most points in an All-Star game. That's the biggest try-hard move, and just to me, aesthetically, not a great look.
You want to have a good game, bro. You want to have a good all-around game to show that you are the best of the best stars. But you know, if the teams aren't playing defense or they got the, you know what I mean, we're playing isolation and nobody's kind of coming over to double, you know what I mean, then that's not basketball, right?
I felt cheated, so I had to go back. I felt cheated with the game, so I went back on Monday and I had it recorded. I went back and watched the 1992 NBA All-Star game over.
That's with Magic Johnson.
Yeah, when they're wearing the blue. Yeah. They got the blue ones that have the the diamond things in the middle. Yeah, probably low key top 3 NBA All-Star jerseys of all time. And that's another thing. I will say this. I was okay with the jerseys.
Okay.
They were okay. The design was kind of cool. At least they kept it blue and white for quote the East, and the reddish, orange, yellow for quote the West. I will say, I got mentioned in the last show, I do miss the East versus West.
Right.
I am kind of mixed because I did, like I said, I did like the 91, 92, 93 type of uniforms, and even 94 when they were in the San Antonio. Or no, sorry, not San Antonio. They were in Minnesota for that one because that's when that J.R. Smith won the dunk contest. No, sorry, J.R. Ryder. J.R. Ryder, not J.R. Smith. J.R. Ryder won the dunk contest through the legs, and he kind of looked up and pointed up. One of those epic dunks ever. They were in San Antonio. The San Antonio uniforms that were like the greenish aqua color. I just remember Reggie Miller's jersey for that. That was very cool. But I kind of like where they had the players wear their own home jerseys. It was in the East Arena. Then everybody on the East wore their home uniforms for it. You know.
Oh man, that was confusing.
So, and I'm sure it was confusing. If I could have it back, like I said, 92, 93, 94, that era uniform style for the East and the West, I like that a lot.
Yeah, go back to not picking is it Team LeBron or Team Durant. Just go back to where it's the West versus the East.
Yes.
I don't have any problems with the sudden death rules or anything like that. I do get it that it is somewhat of a consolation game where it doesn't really matter because if the West wins, it's just saying we got the pride of saying we won, but still. Who if the West wins or the East wins and whoever becomes MVP, everybody, it was heavy speculation. Oh, well, the East is going to win the championship because they got the best, they got the quote unquote the best players. So they need to fix it. They definitely need to fix it before it comes to Indianapolis next year, right? As basketball hungry as this state and this city is, we are not necessarily hungry, but we are, Indiana put their print. Thumbprint on basketball, man. So it needs to get tremendously better. I hope think tanks that run the NBA are behind that 100% because so nobody wants that. No, dude, you're paying $3,000 to watch that, a ticket to watch that. Stop it. Nobody wants that.
Right. I did like the Rising Stars or whatever the hell they call it now. That game I did enjoy watching. Shout out to the Miz half court shot that didn't count to win it. In the celebrity game, which the celebrity game, John, there was 3/4 of them. I was like, who's this? This is celeb. Boy, if that's the celebs we getting in Utah, then shit, we got Dan Dockich and the homeless guy underneath the overpass by the Greyhound station over here with the bum leg. We'll get him out there.
Oh man,
I'm nervous what celebrities they're gonna put out here.
Oh man,
you know who the first one they should call?
Who?
I'm gonna start a Twitter campaign for JMV, local celeb.
Yeah, I'd imagine JMV would be out there, man.
I'm gonna local celebrity.
You give me 6 weeks, man. I can fine tune my jump shot, but I would too, man. But I would imagine JMV, the homie JMV, would be out there. And I don't know, man. Listen, they might call up. A couple cats from Purdue. They might call a couple, NBA cats. A couple cats from IU. It's a possibility. I think they'll get it right, but they need to get it right. They need to start thinking about it right now because that All-Star weekend was unfortunately trash.
Oh, it was. The NBA starts back up tomorrow. Our Indiana Pacers have a game against the Celtics. The Celtics come here, John, tomorrow night. Some news from the league since the All-Star. I know it's kind of a dead period right now for the NBA. So, but 3 topics. Russell Westbrook has decided he is joining the Clippers. So Russ and PG back together with Kawhi. And that squad was – I kind of like – low-key, I like the squad. I'm not sure how the hell it's going to work together. But we'll see kind of how it happens there. Kevin Love signs with the Miami Heat after getting a buyout with the Cavs. John, the Cavs are going to retire his number? Hang it from the rafters?
Man, that's weird, man. Come up with a buyout. I get it. Kevin Love no longer is in like rotation with the big whatever. So he uses a reduced role. And you know, behind closed doors, he felt that he didn't want a reduced role. I think Cleveland is sitting right now as far as like playoffs. So I think they're in the top 4 in the East right now. I think they're sitting like four seed in the East right now. Playoffs are right now. They can play a 7-game series with Brooklyn, I do believe. Kevin Love just wants to play back. I know. I mean, they didn't really screw him. They let him. I mean, they had a contract buyout. He had the opportunity to go wherever he wants, and you know what I'm saying, like most older people, right? That he wants to, you know what I'm saying, kind of, you know what I'm saying, finish it right in Miami. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank. If he wants to do another run back after this season is over, clearly Miami's gonna make the playoffs, right? You know what I'm saying, with him, you know, with his added office. I mean, I don't think he went there, you know what I'm saying, thinking that they would, you know, they're gonna tell him, say, hey man, you're getting George Hill minutes. You only get 6-7 minutes a game. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily see Kevin Love going to being like another piece for Miami to, like, you know what I'm saying, where they get, you know what I'm saying, they can run through the East. You know, so down there they got Kevin Love. Oh man, we got Kevin Love now. Look out. They're still gonna be a real tough out. But like the you know what I'm saying, the circumstances of how Kevin Love, you know what I'm saying, got bought out, the team, it's weird to me. Like the team, we're gonna buy you out, but we're gonna retire your number. Like, dude, like,
right?
I know this, Brandon. I know this world is a microwave and very fast, and we live in like instant, like boom, bam, and Twitter's it's already out there, and Facebook's already out there. But like, dude, like, man, can we at least get to the end of the season, or like, you know what I'm saying, when we have a ceremony, like they retire the numbers like as soon as they cut it, basically. So, nah, man. So, hey, let's go. You know, the East is kind of shaking out, man. But I know there's been some other. I don't, Brandon, rather than ramble on, Kevin Love, you know what I'm saying, is a piece any team would take, but like, it's like a piece that I'm going to lose my mind over. It's not a piece that's going to put Miami over the top, you know what I'm saying?
It was either Trae Young or Nate McMillan, and the Hawks have decided it's going to be Nate McMillan leaving the squad. Fired Nate McMillan. The Atlanta Hawks, John, are currently sitting 29-30, one game below, and they're in the 8th seed, and they have fired Nate McMillan.
You know, a lot of expectations kind of coming into this league, man. Think about, and then I think they fired one of their general managers too. This past season, kind of quietly, man. A lot of expectations go with Trae Young and that team they kind of put together. They put up 2 years ago. They invested a lot of money into making that team go, and that team got as far as the East Conference Finals, I do believe.
Yes.
And since it has not looked like it can get to any type of, you know what I'm saying, a second round, much less the East Conference Finals, man. You know what I mean? So something has, you know what I mean, the trade deadline's already over, right? The team is happy with Trae Young right now. You know what I'm saying? They're probably looking at, well, we traded. Remember that draft day trade? They had Luka Doncic in Atlanta, and then they you know what I'm saying, they got more assets back. But like Brandon, those assets they got back when they made that Luka Doncic or for Trae Young trade, some of those pieces, those additional pieces they got from Dallas, they ain't there no more. You know what I'm saying? Cam Reddish, not there no more. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I don't know, man. Atlanta put their money on the wrong guys, and now they're kind of stuck with that team. So I expect, Brandon, that there'll be some changes in the offseason. I don't know if Trae Young will still be there. I'm pretty sure John Collins ain't going to be there. You know what I'm saying? But there's definitely going to be some changes in Atlanta. And, you know what I'm saying, ultimately, I get 50-50. Trae Young might be up out of there because you can't – listen, Brandon, it's one thing for LeBron James coming to your organization, or Magic Johnson coming to your organization, or even Michael Jordan coming to your organization and say, yo, Doug Collins ain't cutting it. Let's go with Phil Jackson. Oh, LeBron James comes in, oh, XYZ LMOP ain't cutting it. You know what I'm saying? Let's bring in this guy. It's one thing because they come with championship pedigree. You know what Trae Young has not made it. For sure we're going to get to the playoffs this year. You know what I mean? It's not a guarantee. So they had to make changes, man. You know what I'm saying? We all know Nate McMillan here. He's a hard, you know what I'm saying, old school coach. It's probably gone. There's one ear after the other for Trae Young and that team right now. So they had to make a change.
Okay. Perfect. We've got a give me a second here. We got one of our callers, John. We'll bring him on here. Sweet Lou, what's going on?
Hey, how are you?
Good, Lou. How you been, bud?
Okay. Yeah. And of course, well, the All-Star game, of course, proved to be that, all offense and no defense. And, of course, some call it the worst All-Star game in history.
Yeah.
I don't know you, but I like a lot of offense.
It was historically the lowest ratings in the history of the NBA All-Star. 4.5 million viewers.
I heard. What is typically you get for a Saturday afternoon baseball game, maybe even less. Oh, boy. So it can't be that bad. Yeah, but now it's time to get serious, But I'm a little worried about the Nets. All the recent trades they've been making, now the big three are gone. So, the Nets are the one that concerns me the most right now.
5 seed in the East, 34-24.
Yeah, but we were second at one time.
You were, absolutely. You got to believe there's probably less headaches on that team now. I told Jonathan a couple weeks ago on the show, I said the fact you fired the coach, the coach stepped away, Steve Nash, and then you've gotten rid of both of your top 2-star players. As a Brooklyn Net fan, you got to be pulling your hair out. Like, what are we doing? Like, where do we go from here?
Oh, I already did.
I just I still think they make the playoffs. I think the East is bad enough that they definitely make it make it as in quote the play-in game possibly.
Oh,
but I don't think they're going to falter that much. I mean, they're 34-24, 22 games left.
Yeah, but remember what happened because last year at this time, well, before that, they were in second, and then they never recovered after the injuries at Christmas time, and then you had that thing going on. So they never recovered from the last time they fumbled.
Yeah, John, what's your thoughts?
I'm wondering because you repeat itself
with Brooklyn.
I'm surprised Sweet Lou's calling in about basketball, man. What's going on? Sweet Lou, dude, we usually call in. You kind of hot on baseball, man. I'm sorry to switch it up on you, man, but, like, aren't those official rules supposed to be happening this summer or this spring? Where
yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I, for one, I don't mind them at all. I really don't. I'm glad these rules are put in.
So what's the significance? Explain to me like I'm a dummy, man. Please don't call me that. But explain to me what's the big difference of like the defensive shift not being allowed, and larger bases kind of self-explanatory. I think that's for TV. But what's the big deal about the defense?
Well, it's going to because there's a lot of pickups with that, and I think that it's just going to be make a bigger impact on the runners with this, and the pitch clock, because the pitches usually take like forever to get a pitch off. Now with the pitch clock, you're not going to have time to just fool around. Make your pitch, let it hit, and see what happens there. So I kind of like these new rules, to be honest. The game has been too slow for so long. It's time to speed it up.
So this is what they believe is going to add more scoring and potentially get more, at least younger people to watch.
I would think so, yes.
Yeah, I also think you're avoiding some injuries as well with having the bases bigger.
That's another factor.
You're not going to run into each other or have that opportunity. I will say this, and I'm glad we're talking baseball real quick because, I thought in 2020 the season was shortened due to COVID. 2021 they rescheduled, they played, but it was reduced crowds to the pandemic. In 22 it was shortened and it was rescheduled because the owners lock out. Well, now there's a new CBA in place. We're ready for normal baseball, right? We're ready. And then what was the little nugget that came out last week? There's a report that the Major League Baseball owners claim to be in financial trouble again.
Man.
Brian Fallon,
well, because some of them, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody ain't spending their cap money. And there's talk about making everybody putting in the cap. I mean, I know that's not in certain places, but I know that's being discussed. Yeah. But I mean, that's what I know. They're not spending their cap. Everybody's not spending their money. Everybody's not, saying, hey, I need that. If the Yankees, how many, and I know Lou knows, how many $35 million between the Yankees and the LA, right? How many $35 million pitchers per year do they have, or hitters do they have, versus what do the San Diego Padres have? No, and that's right. So
and another thing.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Another thing is, over half of these baseball teams right now, their Diamond Sports Group, which runs the Bally Sports Network, that's going under bankruptcy. That's going to screw up everything as well. The money that they're going to get from television.
Yeah, are they, man? So different level of conversation. The world is seemingly getting ready to go football crazy because I don't know about. I didn't see the XFL ratings, Brandon or Sweet.
Nobody did.
Well, no, ESPN is all in because ESPN that's not like the USFL.
Well, ABC didn't get a lot of big ratings on it, so it was even lower. It was even lower than the 2020 edition.
Yes. So significantly lower ratings.
I think it's going to be a disaster.
You think it's going to be a disaster? Well, I don't know, man. It looks like football is trying to challenge. At least
I think it's going to be a quicker death than the AAF. That's bad.
So
that's bad.
And hey, my Cincinnati Reds, John, you talking about these teams. Well, my Cincinnati Reds, I don't think they've spent any money in the last 6 months. I only know like 2 players on the squad of the team now. And I can't get, somebody asked me, hey, you excited for baseball? I'm excited. I wish I could cheer on my team. The fact that we don't have any players. They went 62 and 100. Right. They're probably going to go 50 and 112 this year. It's just, there's no motivation.
Right. Well, I don't know. I know you guys we haven't had him on a while, man. I want to ask him a couple baseball questions, man. Those are the ones that kind of been asking
about that possible quarterback from Green Bay that might be coming over there.
Yeah, Tweet Lou, who's
think so?
Right? Who's coming? What's going on in New Jersey? What's going on with the Jets? I don't know if Rodgers is going to come. It's tossed up between him and Carr. I think maybe Carr might be the better option than Aaron Rodgers.
Right, at least long term, I'd say so.
Yeah, long term, because Aaron Rodgers, he's due $60 million. We all know he's going to play next year. He's due $60 million. So this thing about him going to some bunker tent or whatever to go think about maybe he's spending blood with his ex-girlfriend, because that's what she does on Instagram.
Yeah.
She does. Danica Patrick spends her blood like once a month, Brandon. It's crazy, man. But maybe he's doing that, man. But, I don't know if the Jets do have enough, I think, to get him in a trade or whatever. But, why tear your team up, you know what I'm saying, in the short term? Because that's what Aaron Rodgers would be, a short-term fix. I'm not saying Carr is a long-term fix either, but, you know what I'm saying, if you know you need a short-term fix, to maybe let the kid from Utah or BYU, I don't think they're going to cut him no time soon, but figure out the cobwebs or whatever, or if you can trade him, whatever. But Carr is definitely, you know what I'm saying, ready to, you know what I'm saying, put some touchdowns up on that scoreboard. And that's what the Jets kind of lacked last year.
They sure did. They were doing so well, and then a 6-game losing streak, that's what really messed them up. Yeah. What's kind of your thoughts and some of the folks around there? What's their thoughts about Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley staying in New York? Well, they did wonders for us. Barkley, stepped up, and Jones has proven to be, a better quarterback. Will I say he's elite? No, don't be ridiculous. He is not elite. He's decent, and he did have his first, playoff season with the team. But, to say he's, an elite quarterback, let's not get carried away here. They did well. They had a first-year coach who took them to the playoffs, and that surprised everybody, all the Giants fans.
Right.
That's my nephew. So, this team did, really, stepped up this year. Now, what to do about next year, that's another story. Barkley's a shoe-in, because they didn't renew Jones's 5th-year option. So that could be a problem right there. That could be a factor there. All it takes is one player to leave and can mess up the whole team. I've seen it happen many times before.
Right.
Right.
Huh.
I
know Daniel Jones because of the influx of money that's coming into the NFL because of Amazon buying in or whatnot. Like Daniel Jones' price went from roughly to where his agent was gonna be asking anywhere between $25 and $30 million. It went up to like $15 more million. So like Daniel Jones is asking like $45 million.
I don't know if I can pay that, John.
I mean, one of the other is going to happen. Either Saquon Barkley gets the short-term 3-year contract, or Daniel Jones gets the short-term 3-year, or 4-year contract. Mm-hmm. But one of them's getting franchise tag.
Yes.
I would, if it was me, I would probably. I mean, the cheaper option's probably franchise tagging Saquon, but. Right. I would rather lock him up longer than. Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. We talked about it during the season, John. Your 2 Super Bowl teams, those running backs for both those Super Bowl teams weren't any higher than a 3rd or 4th round pick. So
right.
Yeah. Why spend the money on a 1st or 2nd round guy when you can go out and get a 3rd, 4th, 5th rounder that can just do the same thing?
Right. But so the production on Saquon this year was like I think he averaged like 4 yards per carry. I think he did he didn't have nowhere near 2,000, but I think he was like over 1,300. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like what does that look like? Do you pay that Dalvin Cook money? But I remember where were the Saints at? As soon as their quarterback was gone, Dalvin Cook, we haven't heard his name. You know what I'm saying? The Panthers were comfortable enough with trading Christian McCaffrey. I think he makes right between 15 and 16, something like that. So does Saquon ask for that kind of money? I would say yes, but in this kind of league and with this kind of money, like I said, Amazon's coming in. There's a new more money coming in from Fox and ABC. Dudes are going to ask for crazy amounts more than what they would normally do 2 seasons ago. So I think it's going to be really interesting. I think they should. Me personally, I don't know what happens with the Jets. Right? I mean, because it ain't like cars don't be cheap either, right? You know what I'm saying? But no, I think Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones probably gets the deal. I don't know if it's gonna be $45 million a year. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I think Daniel Jones gets locked up, and I think Saquon ends up getting franchise tag. He might, of course, he probably won't like it or whatever. But it'll probably get him like $22, $25 million a year, and that for a running back, that's pretty darn good.
Right. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Anything else, Lou?
Let's see. I thought this was one of the greatest Super Bowls that we've seen in a long time too. Oh man, you couldn't get much better than that. Down to 11 seconds. And I predicted that was going to be a high-scoring game. I wasn't thinking this was going to be 13-3, 10-7. I wasn't thinking low-scoring at all. I was thinking a high-impact, from the 2 best quarterbacks in the game. It went just as I expected.
Amen. Nostradamus Lou. That's what we got to start calling him. The Nostradamus.
Sweet Lou, you still doing your podcast? You still doing your show?
You better believe it. Yep, this is now in our 6th year. The service is 5 years already. We switched times though to accommodate somebody else. So we're now on from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern time. The number is still the same: 512-543-4662, and we cover everything, well, almost everything in the world of sports. We haven't done any monster truck or anything yet, but if anything interesting comes up, we would do it.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Thanks, Sweet Lou. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Call in anytime, Sweet Lou.
All right. That's Sweet Lou, our guy. We ain't heard from him in a while, so it was good to pick his brain with especially the baseball and the state of the football teams there in New York. So
right.
Kevin Durant, John, is going to be. It's reported that he'll be back March 1st against the Charlotte Hornets. Will be his first game back. The Phoenix Suns right now, John, are 32-28. They are 5th in the West, 32-28. They got 22 games left.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you think with Durant into that lineup they will end up being?
Damn, man. Ain't that something that he gets to just coach right into a good team?
Yeah.
He left a team that was 5th seeded.
Yep.
Well, no, it was 4th seeded when he asked for the trade. A 4th seeded team. They were out there fighting, right? Jock Vaughn out here coaching to the point that they just gave Jock Vaughn some more money to extend it after this season. I get it. Ben Simmons is, I don't know what the hell, but James Harden didn't want to play with you, Kevin Durant. You remember that? And then Kyrie Irving, again, quite honestly, if Kevin Durant, I'm being honest with you, Brandon, if Kevin Durant had said, yeah, I'm going to play, I think Kyrie Irving's still there. I do. Man, Brandon, and people are telling me, man, Cuban's going to give Kyrie what he wants. Cuban just kind of like, you know what I'm saying? I think Mark Cuban, with that particular trade, is trying to just appease both Jason Kidd and Luka Doncic, saying, hey, man, I'm playing with another superstar out here. But, like, we all know how that's going. Hell, we haven't – did it look – we've seen it in short. They played together. Yes, he had 30. He had 30. Everybody else, it was a show of watch them go. Not nobody else got involved. So, I'm just disappointed in all of it, Brandon. It's kind of one of the reasons add that with the All-Star game debacle that, hey, man, superstar teams can, all right, man, y'all wanted to come together over here, but then you didn't, like, when you found out you had to actually shovel and pile through some crack, you said, nah, man, you know what, I'm out there. I'm going to take my talents to Phoenix or whoever can trade for me. He even said it. We would talk about it. They had already been talking about it. He had spent 1 year. Remember, Brandon, you lost your mind. I'm sorry. You lost your mind. He said, man, if he had that big toe and they hit that shot over Giannis, they beat the Bucks. Where it didn't happen. And he didn't come. Right. Kevin Durant didn't come back with the attitude, hey, man, we going out here and win.
No.
I'm going to go out here and beat the Bucks. He did not. Kevin Durant's getting past to this day. Kevin Durant left the Golden State Warriors because he didn't want to share a spotlight with you know what I'm saying, with the Golden State Warriors, with the
Curry.
How can I, the MVP, Steph Curry. Thank you. Well, I don't think there's other people guys kind of share the spotlight with out there. It ain't just Curry, but you know what I'm saying. What I expect them to do, not win. How about that? They'll win some games. They'll make a run, 20-some-odd games, man. If they don't win out of the 20, you said 22 games left, Brandon. If they don't go, I'm not saying they're gonna go 22-0, but if they don't at least go 60% of the games, man, okay, big deal. You telling me next year? I don't want to hear it. I don't.
Okay.
I don't ever want to hear it with Kevin Durant ever again. Because you know what? If you tell me next year, he's gonna be, like you said two shows ago, he'll be playing with Seattle. And Seattle ain't got a team yet.
I actually thought, John, I wrote it down this afternoon. I thought they would go probably 15-7 in their final 22 games. That would put them at 47-35. So I think that's kind of where I see them going 15-7 with KD playing his full minutes out there. That the Phoenix team's good. They're just now getting Booker back.
Right.
You know, they're not. I'll tell you this, John. They're not as deep as what they was. They gave up a lot of assets for KD, so he better be playing for that.
Right.
Now I want to look at the Lakers real quick. They've made their trade. They've got D'Angelo Russell. 22 games left for them, or 23 games. Excuse me. LeBron James said, and we both are LeBron James stans. So LeBron James said these are the big. And I kind of shook my head when he said it. Like LeBron says some things like, you know what he means, but the way he comes off with it's like, all right, LeBron. He said these are the 23 biggest games of my career. All right. We know that's not the case, but he's not going to play all 23 games. There's talk about hostility between Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You saw it in that one game where Davis was crybabying, and then it kind of exploded on something about sitting down. And I guarantee it's LeBron's like, dude, like, quit effing being injured. Like, what the hell? Quit sitting out.
Right.
Give me some help. And it probably hurt AD's feelings. But 22 games left. The Lakers currently, John,
you gotta know,
27-32.
Hot mess.
They
Hot
are
mess.
3 games out of the play-in.
Yeah, somebody in the comments said they need to win 15 games at least. You said that the Nets need to go 15-7. I'm gonna say the Lakers need to do better, 16-6, or they got 23 games. 16. I mean, they need to get on the positive side.
They need to go 17-6.
Yeah, thank you. My math is terrible. My English is better.
Let's do this real quick. Let's go through this. Let's go through this schedule. See if we can get 17 wins. First game up tomorrow night on TNT. Warriors.
Who we got? It's possible they can win that one. Unless Curry's playing.
Yeah, no Curry. So Lakers are favorites, 5-point favorites for that game. Then they're at the Mavs. It's possible, but I'm going to give it to the Mavs there.
Okay.
Grizzlies. I think Grizzlies beat them on Tuesday.
I think, you take the Grizzlies on that
one. So we're at what? So what are we at? 2? 2 of the first 3, we think?
2-1. Yep.
Okay, so 2 wins. At the Thunder.
That's a winnable game.
Home against the T-Wolves.
They beat the Thunder. That is a winnable game. Patrick Beverly's in Chicago now.
Yes. Warriors again at LA.
They're going to split one of those games.
Okay. So we're still at 4. Grizzlies at the Lakers. Again, the Grizzlies.
I don't like it. Yeah, I like the Grizzlies.
Home against,
but the Grizzlies have been known that they've been known to choke some games. But I feel like on paper.
Listen, don't get me started on their fraudness. Raptors at home. I think that's a win.
Yeah, you know what? I got some intel, man. The Raptors ain't trying to win. They got some. They're not necessarily trying to get in the lottery. I don't think necessarily in lottery. They can't get Victor when you know what I'm saying, whipping Tombo and things. But they ain't necessarily trying to run it back next year. Thank you. We got a whole year, a whole couple months, man. But we got to jack up his name. So yeah, you're
still messing up Paulo Banchero.
I'm still calling it San Diego Chargers, man. Don't call me out. But yeah.
So we're at 5 wins.
Man, I got them beating Toronto.
Okay. Then they're home against the Knicks.
Got to beat the Knicks at home.
That's a win. Then they're at the Pelicans. I think it's another win, especially with Zion out.
Ooh, I don't know, Brandon. Brandon's like Jennings is be on their head, dude. Not Brandon. What's his name?
Yeah, Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I said Brandon Jennings. That dude didn't play for Arizona. Yeah, Brandon Ingram. Yes, sir. He usually has his best games against the Lakers. I don't know, Brandon. We're going to be split on that one. I'm going to go with it.
So we're at 7 still. At the Rockets.
Okay.
I think that's an 8.
That's a win. That is a win.
Yep.
That's a win.
They're home against the Mavs again.
Give me the Lakers. That's 9.
Okay, so that's 9. We've got 5 games left in April. At the Rockets.
Another win.
That's 10. At the Jazz. Call it 11.
You can call that a win because they're tanking.
Yeah.
They'll be pulling players.
At the Clippers.
That's a loss.
That's a loss for sure.
Russell Westbrook going to lose his damn mind.
Home against the Suns. That's a loss.
Big time.
And home against the Jazz. I've got them at 12 wins. That's what we got them at, 12 wins.
That's kind of where's that going to put them in? Hopefully you thinking somebody else going to slide, and that might put them in a play-in situation.
12 put you.
Ain't that going to be the eighth thing?
12 put you at 39 wins.
Okay.
And right now,
still on the wrong side of 82.
Right now, the Thunder are the last team at the 10 seed for the play-in tournament, and they're only 9 wins away from that number.
Like, man, it's like somewhere in their little minds, man, like Kyrie Irving and LeBron James think that they need to play together in order to win. And I'm saying the Lakers know damn well better they wasn't gonna trade for that. Because the Lakers still are Brandon, they will pump up. They do. Kobe Bryant, great individual player. Magic Johnson, great individual player. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you know the name. James Worthy. But it's still about did we win another championship banner or not? You know what I'm saying? Whether we was 39 and whatever, whether we was number 1 seed or whatever, they don't care. So 12. If they win 12 games out of the last, so what, whatever. I still think the Warriors and the Phoenix Suns are a better team than them, and definitely Denver. If they had to play Denver in a first round matchup, they'd probably lose 4-1.
Do you trust Denver?
They just would. Right
now, they're 41-18. They're 27-4 at home, and they're 14-14 on the road.
It was kind of weird. They traded Bones Highland out of there. I thought he was one of their better depth players, but they traded Bones Highland up out of there, man. They probably more financial. It ain't definitely because he's not a bad player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I do trust them, at least in this particular West. You don't, though I do still think like they're going to turn that light on in Golden State. I think Denver's still a little in a 7-game series is better than Memphis. I definitely know Denver's better than the Lakers. Definitely know Memphis is better than, you know what I'm saying, anybody not necessarily named Golden State would be like, I don't know. We have to kind of see what that would look like. In a game against Memphis, them and Denver, it's probably going 7. Definitely 6. You know what I mean? But I trust Denver. But, like, you know, who knows? When to come out of the West, we haven't seen that before. So, yeah, I think Denver is the best team in the West, though.
The Warriors obviously are without Steph Curry for a little bit of time here. I just thought their record, they're 29-29 overall. Okay, they're 22-7 at home, and they're 7-22 on the road. I just thought that's crazy how the record came out like that. How about the Memphis Grizzlies, John? They have the second worst road record, tied for the second worst road record in the West at 11-17. Right. They're 24-5 at home, second best in the West home record, but they're 11-17. Right. So are they the biggest frauds?
Yeah, man, they got some games where they let their mouth get in front of it, and
they have no right to talk though either.
Yeah, and so yeah, man, they got to stop talking. That team is both offensively good enough and defensively good enough to get to the finals. I don't think they understand they are good enough to get to the finals right now, but they got this maturity issue.
Who would you rather have right now, Lamar Ball or John Moran's dad to deal with? I'd almost rather have Lamar, right?
Although at least Lamar ain't never, you know what I'm saying,
right.
Another player.
Yeah, like his dad's trying to get some clout or something. I don't know. It's baffling to me.
Yeah.
Indiana Pacers 26-34. You got the right now. Well, you know what? We haven't done it in a while, John. We haven't done our NBA Tankathon. We haven't done our mock draft NBA Tankathon lottery. So let's give that a spin now. And we'll see where we have the Pacers. And it's simming. Oh, okay. Simming. There we go. With the second pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select Scoot Henderson from the G League Elite. I would take that.
Wouldn't be bad. I mean, the Pacers didn't it lose like 15 in a row?
Yeah.
It was something crazy, Brandon. It was something bad. They're definitely a different team without their floor general, because he was dealing with the bone bruise, dealing with the elbow. He was dealing with a lot of significant injuries for like 2 or 3 weeks, man.
What's your thoughts on the Thompson the brothers, the twins? Amin Thompson and Asir Thompson from Overtime Elite. They're going to be in the draft. Right now, they're both going to be in the top 5.
Brandon, all these guys. Anybody? Again, I'm not hating on anybody right now in this particular draft. Again, 2-3 years away till you see like what they're really going to be. I don't know. I think the Pacers the ball won't fall off that far from where they be picking 2. They're going to win. They're going to pick up some games in the next 20 some odd games. But that like I said, that 15-game losing streak. They didn't win a game they didn't win a game in January.
Yeah.
They won a game in January. That's how long it was.
Here we go.
So,
This one I like.
Go ahead.
With the 4th pick, which is kind of where they're slotted right now, in the 2023 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers select, and this is where our next topic's going, Brandon Miller from Alabama.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, John,
that's
what is your thoughts on this craziness going on in Alabama right now with Brandon Miller allegedly giving his teammate asking for his gun because he was having trouble with a person. Right. Brandon Miller went and got his gun, took it to him. But now everybody's saying the lawyers, the coaches, like we knew. And then they're saying, well, he had no part of this incident. I think you could be considered accomplice, right? If it's his gun being used.
If they can tie that to that, right? If it's his gun, again, man, like Brandon Reese. We're gonna use everybody's government name real quick. I'm Jonathan Birdsong. If Brandon Reese calls me and says, "Hey, Jonathan, can you bring me your gun?" and we ain't going to no shooting range, or we not going shooting at some skeet or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, Brandon, have you went deep hunting everywhere any time in your lifetime? You shot a moose or a deer once? Okay. Yeah. So if Brandon Reese ever called me and said, "Hey, Jonathan, can you bring your gun over here?" I'm gonna be like, "Nah, man, what the fuck? Are you serious? For what, man?" You know what I'm saying? So, like, the veil of student athlete, and we didn't know because I was so young. Like, dude, we are so far beyond that. If anybody is going to say, "Hey, man, what about he's a kid?" Hey, man, kids got a gun on campus at Alabama? Come on, Brandon, you got to make it make sense. Right. We're talking about one of the most football or basketball. I think it's a more football school, right? But you're talking about where they take care of the athlete. We put you in a situation where you don't have to be around no kind of crap. I get it. Another teammate made a poor decision, like whatever, with some woman wants to, get into an argument, domestic, with some woman that, did return his advances. But, like, you got to be smarter than the situation where you were at. You were at Alabama. You were wherever. You were in college. You probably got a nice little NIL situation.
Yeah.
And now that's all in jeopardy.
Let me read this. Today, the star freshman's attorneys, Jim Standridge, released a statement today claiming his client's innocence. Brandon never touched the gun, was not involved in its exchange to Mr. Davis in any way, could never knew the illegal activity involving the gun would occur. Bullshit. Reads the statement. According to law enforcement testimony at the preliminary hearing on Tuesday, Miller was asked to bring his gun to teammate Darius Miles and another man, Michael Lynn Davis, on January 15th. Miles and Davis have been charged with capital murder after they alleged operating a fire at a car and killing Harris in an area called the Strip near Alabama's campus. When Miller arrived there, Miller told Davis the heat is in the hat and there's one in the head. Referring to the gun, have arrived with a round in the chamber, the detective has said. Miles admitted to providing the gun that was used in the shooting. Investigators say but told them it was Davis who fired the weapon. I still think, Brandon Miller, you're an accomplice to it, my man. And I was calling you the next possible to get the body like PG. They're saying Miller is not facing any charges as a result of his contact with Miles, and the school has announced, and he's playing tonight at South Carolina. He's playing tonight.
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, and then Coach Oates made some situations talking about kids. He never been in trouble before. He said something like that. And again, man, we got somebody lost their life on a gun that was passed from another person to another person. So even if he's not the person that shot it, like wrongful death, all that stuff kind of is in play. And like if you kill one of my loved ones and come find out like it wasn't this kid's gun, he didn't lawfully have it. He didn't. I mean, get it. We got a gun problem. I don't want to get political. Shame on me, Brandon. I'm sorry. We got a gun problem in the United States. Period. But again, it doesn't make sense for a kid. Again, I'm not saying you shouldn't have. I'm not saying you can't lawfully have a gun. But if you lawfully have a gun, I can't lawfully say, "Hey, Brandon, here you can use this gun and go do whatever you want to do with it." That's not how the way the world works. And I get it. Lawyers gonna try to get this kid because he's got XYZ LMNOP money kind of coming to him, right? Earmarked, right? Maybe, but like, man, we can't keep on giving guys.
And what have you said?
Passes.
You've said for how many years? You cannot, if you're a star athlete or something like that, you have to surround yourself with the proper people. And maybe sometimes
Absolutely.
teammates ain't your proper people. Have you ever seen the movie Oh?
Sometimes.
I mean, come on now.
Sometimes. Oh, man, you didn't went back to I ain't think with Julia Stiles.
Mikel Pfeiffer and, yeah. Sometimes, man, your teammates ain't your teammates. You need to be closest to. So the fact that and Yahoo Sports put a good article out today. Alabama's Brandon Miller could have stopped the tragedy. He didn't. He knew what was going on. He knew, is it possibly the smartest thing for him to give a gun to a, quote, friend / teammate of his that's been possibly drinking heavily that night at the bar?
Right.
It's just.
Even if it wasn't a woman, even if it was like, hey, man, I just got my ass kicked by, another team or some townies. You can't, I can do that. You, man.
And
the story. I know it's not.
Yeah, the story, Miller and Davis are charged up. Miller has not been charged with any crime. The DA has said there's nothing we could charge him with according to the law. Perhaps there isn't. Perhaps bringing someone else their gun moments before it becomes a murder weapon, perhaps having your car block the path of a vehicle just before that vehicle is ridiculed with bullets isn't a crime in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But let's be clear.
Wow.
Even if Miller is cleared of any actual legal charges, that doesn't mean his behavior is excusable. This was Miller getting a request to bring a weapon to someone he had to reasonably believe had been drinking, perhaps heavily, in a crowded college bar district, in doing so rather than A, not doing it, B, telling his teammate to leave rather than escalate the situation, C, driving over unarmed and picking up his teammate, or D, any number of other better options. Anything else. Even doing nothing would have been better than what he's done.
Right. You're absolutely right, man.
So
we wouldn't even know that that we had an issue. They had an issue with a female, a girl, a lady. You know what I'm saying? Again, man, somebody, I don't know. You can't put the guns back in the bullet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's bad.
Yep.
All the way around.
All the way. Sticking to the college ranks, John. Indiana Hoosiers, 17th in the polls. After they lost the other night, they lost to Michigan State.
We've been taking some heat. Anybody listening to us right now, me and Brandon have been taking heat on the IU Hoosiers on Twitter at Crossroads Sports on Twitter and 3 Foodsmen on Twitter, man. We've been taking a lot of heat, not because either of us is, pro Hoosier or pro Purdue, but the IU faithful are like constantly reminding us of the one loss record of again against Purdue or them against some other Big Ten teams, and then last night against Michigan State it didn't happen at all, right?
No, we got and watching it from a outsider's perspective, not in with the program. Michigan State was riding high on a lot of things, right? It was the first game back after the shooting. It kind of turned the tide in the first half, and you could tell IU never got really closer than 9 in the second half. Trace Jackson Davis looked tired to me in the second half, John.
A lot of turnovers. Yeah, a lot of turnovers.
He looked really tired and exhausted. Now I know you're going to say, well, Brandon, he's a college kid. He shouldn't have to be tired like that. He played 36 minutes. If you look back at his game log, I don't think he's played less than 35 minutes a game in the last, 15, 20 games?
Right.
They haven't had themselves an opportunity where they've blown out a team to be able to sit him. Now, they could have done it last night because you already knew how last night was going to go. So they didn't. And he just looks tired and exhausted. And I wonder if maybe they have just not blow him out, but,
Brandon's train is long, ran the horse too long. You can say that, Brandon, because where is the secondary third? What's the second and third level scoring?
Shafino,
or dependability. Shafino is still young, and again, he's got NBA people talking to him, so he's not fully bought into IU. He's going to say that he is, but he's on his way out. Brandon, where is all these prospects? I mean, we're not on DEFCON anything right now. They're going to make the tournament. right? Oh my God, Brandon, they had them in a 4. Are they still gonna be a 4 seed? You think? I couldn't believe it.
I don't know. They dropped
They,
something today. I saw moved them to a 5, but I think they're going to be hovering right at 4 or 5.
Right. So I think they'll be hovering. Same, same deal. But where's the to go even further potentially with the season is coming to an end, but to go even further into the Big Ten tournament to prepare for the NCAA tournament and to hey man, to get all the naysayers quiet. Yeah, we beat Wyoming last year, but we got blown out by St. Mary's. You got to win. You got to get to the third weekend if you're IU. You put enough into this season that you got to get to. You know what I'm saying? And right now, they got enough to get there. But if you're saying that your primary horse is gassed out, man, you might. I'm not saying you start resting, but you gotta play. You got to get more out of the other people. Hood Schifino, the Miller Cup. You got to get more.
Johnny hasn't played less than 32 minutes in a game since December 17th against Kansas. He's played 32 minutes or more every game since. And 6 of those games, he's played 40 minutes.
Wow.
So
he got a burner on him. That's for darn sure.
Yeah, he does.
But his utilization, like what you're saying, you're speaking to his utilization. They're overutilizing him, and they're not getting support from the other pieces.
Right. So we got big game this Saturday. Indiana Hoosiers at Purdue Boilermakers. I will be at the game, John, Saturday night, 7:30. It is a blackout up there at Mackey Arena. Should be a good one. Purdue trying to avenge the loss to Indiana earlier this couple weeks ago. Purdue just played this past weekend on Saturday, I want to say. The 19th? No, Sunday. Sunday the 19th, they beat Ohio State 82-55. They poured it on in that game. Boilermakers now a game and a half up on Northwestern. They have 3 games left. Indiana is back 3 games. So for Indiana to have a chance for the Big Ten Championship, they have to share of it. They have to get a win tonight, or Saturday, excuse me. Purdue going to have a whole week off between the games. If you don't think Matt Painter is going to have this team pissed off, ready to play Saturday night, you got another thing coming.
I listened to what's name with Painter, man. He still believes that they should have been in that Maryland game, even though they were up.
They were up, and the wheels fell off after that.
Maryland went on a run, and they never Purdue. Never could. They were reeling. Purdue. That's one of the very few games they got out rebounded in. And like I said, they had turnovers everywhere against Maryland. So I expect a real hard. I expect, like you said, I expect a real hard, even still close, but I expect a real hard game against Purdue. I expect Purdue to kind of come out that win. They want to put IU back in their place. And they want to make sure that they get back onto their winning way, so that they can, get that mojo going back into the Big Ten tournament. And like I said, they want to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be a big one. I'll be there. I'll have some pictures and video to post as well. And should be a good time up there at Mackey for these 2 heavyweights ranked. Right now, IU still 3rd in the Big Ten. The top 4 teams, as you remember, the top 4 teams get a double bye in the Big Ten tournament this year that's being played in Chicago. But if you look at the Big Ten standings, you got Indiana at 10-7, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams tied at 9-7, basically a half game back. So IU's as high as 3, and if the wheels fall off, John, they could be as low as number 9, a 9 seed, where if they lost their other 3 and other teams won, but they could be as low as a 9 and have to play the 8-9 game, and then the very next matchup would be against the Big Ten, whoever the Big Ten regular season champions are, whether it be Purdue or Northwestern. A lot of parity.
Yeah, there's good. A lot of parity. You can say that, there's not enough talent around or whatever in the Big Ten. I don't necessarily believe that. I just think the Big Ten is competitive, right? And like I said, it's just even more competitive as we get down to the wire.
Looking at the Big Ten Conference, Maryland's up 16 right now on Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So give Maryland their 10th win. So they're going to be staying tied with Indiana. Tonight you've got Iowa and Wisconsin. Iowa's 9-7. They win. They're going to get their 10th conference win. That'll put them up there as well. I think Wisconsin wins the game tonight. Iowa's the favorite, John, but I think Wisconsin, this is one of those games where the old style Wisconsin Badgers come out. I think they get it done. Tomorrow night's games, you got Penn State at Ohio State, Michigan against Rutgers. Both of those teams are 9-7, so that's going to change something there. And then Northwestern is at Illinois there. Illinois is a 5-point favorite in that game right now, which is crazy against Northwestern. But that could help the Boilermakers out if Illinois can knock off Northwestern there. And then obviously we've got the big one Saturday, IU and Purdue. I do think it'll be a great game. I just think the Boilermakers are going to come in pissed off. Yeah, you can call me a homer on this one. That's fine. If they don't, then we need to look in the mirror, because if Painter can't get his team up against them at home in a blackout night, we got some problems. Cut down the turnovers. I think they're going to be okay. So I want to dive over, John. I want to give some credit here. Give me 1 second if I can find it.
Uh-oh. Extra credit.
Ball State Cardinals, John. Chirp, chirp. I
ain't heard that since I left word in the ring.
Oh, yeah. You got to give them their flowers, John. Go. Ball State. I'm trying to bring up their thing real quick as we're talking about them.
That's kind of good.
Gotta love me some Cardinals. Ball State Cardinals, John, big win last night. If I can get the audio to stop. Ball State Cardinals, big win last night over number 1 ranked Kent State. Beat them like a drum, 82-70. Ball State now 20-8 overall, 11-4 in the conference. 2 games back now of Toledo, 1 back of Kent State. Ball State 20-8, John. I think they're officially working their way towards a play-in game bubble for the NCAA tournament in Mike Lewis's first year.
Man, even if they don't win the MAC?
Yep, I think they can get 2 teams in. There's so much parity.
Right,
look at the Big Ten now. There's what we say 9 and 7.
Right.
This is the year to do it.
It's possible. They got to have a real strong showing. Last night was a great step because Kent State, dude, I had them preseason winning it all, winning the MAC anyway, not necessarily winning the whole thing.
Right.
Kent State is a real tough out because that's the same team that I think they didn't go overtime with Gonzaga, but it was a close game early in the season. And they especially Kent State, I do believe, like either 12-2 or undefeated at home. It's one or the other. Shame on me. I do not have the information in front, but they are a very tough out. I still think they will win unless Ball State, does his due diligence and goes to that. I think the MAC tournament is in Cleveland this year.
Yes.
Unless they go to MAC and go crazy, which they can. Coleman and Peyton Sparks are kind of leading the way. I think it's Coleman. I do believe this is last. I know he got 1 more year, or is this last year?
This is last year, I believe.
I think it's his last year.
So
he transferred.
So to give you their schedule for you, this they play on the 25th, which is 3 days away. So on Saturday they play Imani Bates and Eastern Michigan at Eastern Michigan. Then they're at Akron, and then they're home senior night against Toledo on the 3rd. That's the first place Toledo.
You're gonna get a face full of Imani Bates, man. But that's the game Eastern Michigan they should be able to win. Akron's gonna be a little bit more of a challenge, but they should be feeling real good about it because again they just beat the best team in overall in the MAC in Kent State. So I'm expecting the Mike Lewis's Ball State to finish strong and go into that MAC tournament with feeling like they got a chance to win.
Yeah, Eastern Michigan's 7-21 with Amani Bates. They're trash. Akron's 19-9. They're actually tied with Ball State in the conference. That'll be a tough one for Ball State going to Akron to play them. They beat them by 7 here earlier in the year. John, do you want to? Crossroads may have to put credential request in for March 3rd. It's next Friday night. Ball State and Toledo. It's a Friday night game, 7 p.m. John, you in?
Well, we got to figure out. We got to figure out a lot of trajectory, man, because we also have to go through the Horizon League championship tournament that starts. I think it starts.
It's only 2 days long.
It's only 2 days long, but it's at the end of March, not necessarily in the middle. Yeah, man, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's in the same week, so I don't know. We got to figure out that logistically, man. But yeah, man, let's figure it out and see if we can get there.
I will put a request in with Ball State and see what we can get. Ooey Pooey Jags. Ooey Pooey, 1-17 in the conference, 4-25 overall. The only team that's worse than them with a record-wise like that should be really embarrassed is Louisville.
And I'll say it for different reasons, right?
Yes.
Again, like I said, me and Brandon gonna be up close and personal. I kind of cover already IUPUI basketball. It's still a budding, building program. There's a lot of challenges to kind of come with getting players, you know what I'm saying, to come to IUPUI, right? But like I said, we're going to check them out. I think not to quote Harper that we're going to be at the Horizon League. We're going to see Mike Davis' son from Detroit Mercy. He's like a 5th or 6th year senior.
Yeah.
They've already retired his jersey, and he's still playing. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how Mike Davis got over to Detroit Mercy. But yeah, we're going to see enough of IUPUI, Detroit Mercy, the Wright State. I think who else is it? Oakland. A lot of you know, a lot of teams that don't necessarily get a lot of shine, or, you know, saying on the main stage. But like me and Brandon will be there. Like you said, like the first week of March, man, as the Horizon League tournament starts, man. Can't wait. Yeah. Basketball was serious. Basketball crazy. It's serious.
Yeah, can't wait. It's gonna be a fun time. Looking forward to it. Butler, John, any thoughts on Butler?
Man, Butler, I haven't looked. I mean, I have, but so I'm lying. I haven't looked to see who's coming to Butler, but the cupboard is bare, man. So if Thad Matta, it's not bare, I shouldn't say that, but like it's not happening this year, folks. They got a couple wins where they surprised some folks, right? They beat Georgetown, who hasn't? No, they didn't beat Georgetown.
They beat Xavier.
A shameless mistake. Yeah, they beat Xavier, which was a surprise. They beat St. John's, which I thought was a surprise too. But like, nah, man, a few big wins this year for Butler. A lot of folks still think it's a transitional year. Again, I looked at some of the recruiting. I think it's going to be some more of the same that we see next year. But this year ain't happening. No CIB, no NIT, no NCAA tournament. That's for the Bulldogs.
Who? I'm just trying to think who they could come in and have be a coach there at Butler, because obviously Thad's just trying to get them back in form, but I don't know how much form that's going to be to give them to somebody else. I will say I am underwhelmed by the ACC this year with how bad Louisville, Notre Dame, Florida State, North Carolina, Duke, Syracuse, these teams are just bad. Is it just me, John, or does it seem like there's a lot of teams that in the past have been really, really good, that this is just a down year for them? Or down a couple of years.
Yeah, when you look at the ACC, the Miami Hurricanes, which I kind of run away with. Isaiah Wong is I think he's like top 5 now in all-time league scorers list for the University of Miami. Oh, from the U rather. Brandon, they got actually pretty good chance of making Sweet 16, Elite 8. That program, I think they remember last year they made the Sweet 16. Those folks, those fans down there don't even pay attention to the Canes, man. Believe it or not. If a team up north up here was 23-5, man, we'd be, you know what I'm saying, slotting our positioning going to the Final Four, man. But the ACC is probably going to have maybe 4, maybe 4 teams for sure. Clemson, Duke, I would say for sure. Miami and Virginia. Those are teams I know for sure. And probably NC State, so 5. But
Clemson too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeff Capel's got the Pitt Panthers playing well, 20-8, 13-4 in the conference. They're a half game back of the conference lead. And I mean, Virginia, who's leading the conference right now, last I checked, they were losing on the road tonight. Let me check that. Yeah, they're still down by 9 at Boston College with 12 minutes to go in the game. So, the Conference of Champions, John, I'm just going to look over there real quick. UCLA, Arizona, top 2 teams there. You got USC and Arizona State, both with 19 wins, and then it kind of falls off. The Cal Golden Bears, 3-24. Trouble. There.
A lot of mid-majors. Brandon Reaper's predicting going to make the tournament, so we shall see. I hope it's true.
Hey, can we give us a shout-out? They've won 7 in a row. Missouri Valley, we don't talk about them much. Indiana State, John, 13-5 in the conference, 1 game out of the lead. They're 20-9 overall. 7 straight wins for the Sycamores.
It's like they don't even give up a whole lot of information. There's a new coaching staff. We know they set themselves up last year, and a lot of people kind of like, what are they gonna do? You know what I mean? And like this year, it's kind of been like he's brought his own recruits in, he's brought his own system in, and Indiana State is a way they go. It ain't necessarily like Larry Bird 1977 team just yet. I think that Indiana State, there's no way there's two. I'm saying right now, looking at like what quad they playing, there's no way. A team from that particular conference, they're going to get 3 or 4 teams. But Indiana State has as much chance. They beat everybody in the conference at least once. There's no way there's no way. Like I said, I don't think that team that particular conference gets no more than maybe 2 teams. I think they're only going to send 1. But Indiana State definitely got a better chance than anybody else in that conference of getting there. They beaten Drake. They beaten, I do believe, I think Belmont's in that conference as well. They beaten everybody at least once.
They are playing Belmont right now, currently, actually.
Shout out to the Sycamores.
They've only got 2 games left. Belmont and Missouri State are the last 2 games. It's funny if you look at their schedule because they won 4 in a row, and then they lost to Kansas City, and then they won 5 in a row, and then they lost 3 in a row. Then they won 4 in a row, and then they lost 5 in a row, and now they've won 7 in a row. So they're very streaky for them. So, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to Indiana State, the Fighting Trees, 20-9, impressive year for them, and let's see what they can do. Make some noise here in the Missouri Valley tournament. The Arch Madness, as they call it, Arch Madness. I love it.
Arch Madness.
Can't wait. Can't wait to watch it all. Evansville 5-24. We're going to hit all the colleges real quick. Evansville 5-24, another struggling year, and Jonathan Birdsong couldn't even name you the coach, as he said in previous shows. Valparaiso 11-18. Rough year for them as well. Struggling. I do want to give a shout out. Let me bring up the Ohio Valley Conference. Southern Indiana Screaming Eagles. John, I went there for 2 years. Excuse me.
You are.
Ran down there, cross country and track. 15-14 currently, 1 game above 500. 8-8 in the conference. 10-3 at home, 4-11 on the road. But first year in Division I school. 15-14 overall. So not looking too bad there in the Ohio Valley Conference.
There's nothing kooky about. Remember how Bellarmine couldn't? They did enough
Bellarmine
to make tournament. Bellarmine, shame on me, man. I know that, and we got credentials.
Yeah, gotta respect the name. Put some respect on that name.
But does USI have to sit out because they used to be a Division II program, or if they make the tournament, okay.
Yeah, they have to sit out. There's a introductory period, probationary period, where they're not allowed to go into the NCAA tournament for a certain amount of years, which I don't know why. That feels like one of the dumbest rules I've heard.
Has to be. You play a Division I. You change over from Division II to Division I. You play a whole Division I year. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you should be able to go to the tournament. So that sucks that they don't get to make it. Uh-oh, breaking news.
I got 2 sets of breaking news. 2 sets. The first breaking news from the association, the Atlanta Hawks are considering bringing in Ime Udoka as their new head coach. The former Boston Celtics suspended coach after his whatever you want to call it, his antics with whoever.
Right.
So,
in-house.
What, you got some kind of echoing noise going on, man. I'm hearing it.
I'm sorry. Udoka had an in-house tryst.
Yeah.
with somebody, man. So, yeah. I kind of had heard, you know what I'm saying, if they go with Udoka, that's great. I had heard Quinn Snyder. Maybe Quinn doesn't want that challenge of dealing with Trae Young. So, Udoka's the man. We shall see.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another one, a little closer to home. Breaking news. And I guess I could break out another little piece of news, John. Media credentials are getting put in for this, for the season. But the Indianapolis Indians, John, have announced that they will not change their name. There was a lot of scrutiny when the Cleveland Indians changed their name to the Guardians, that they wanted, people were saying that, hey, the Indians need to change, the Indianapolis Indians need to change their name.
Right.
The Indians have announced that they will keep their name as it is. The organization also announced that it is partnered with a local Native American tribe, the Miami Nation of Indians of Indiana. This partnership will include a land acknowledgement, recognition of the Miami veterans during Native American Heritage Night at Victory Field, and numerous scholarship programs and fan educational opportunities. The team name will stay the same. It's been the Indianapolis Indians since 1902. And it will stay the same as 2023 and 24 seasons as the organization explores and activates programs within the Miami. The Miami Nation of Indians in Indiana is one of the 100 largest tribes in the U.S. And the tribe's chief, Brian Buchanan, released a statement regarding the excited surrounding his partnership. So the Indianapolis Indians are going to keep the name, John. They are going to keep their name.
There you go. I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure once we get credentials. I haven't been to a daggone tribe Indians game, man, in like 7 years.
Oh, I love it.
I don't even know. Do you? Okay.
Love it.
I haven't been in quite some time. So let's check it out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're gonna cover some more of that baseball this year. Got to get into more of the baseball during the summer. So we'll hit that up. Let's hit a quick ad read, John. We come back from our ad reads. I got a couple actually, I only got one more topic really, and then if anybody else calls in, we'll talk them. But if not, then we'll end the show. Hour and a half show tonight. So we'll hit our quick ad reads, take our sponsors. We'll be back after these messages.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck goose because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm insurance agent Scott K. Nichols will help make it easy and affordable to help protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Scott K. Nichols in Indianapolis today at 317-243-3509. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Crossroads Sports would like to thank Wiseman Logistics. Their team is dedicated to the successful delivery of your packages. Services, domestic or commercial, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Call 877-744-6212 to set up your delivery. Thanks, Wiseman.
I also want to thank our sponsor, Maverick Custom Motorsports, where ideas are created and dreams are born. Specialize in custom motorcycles, boats, slingshots, pickups, and trucks. Offering pickups, deliveries, and shipping worldwide. Check them out today, MavericksCustomMotorsports.com. Check them out online. Like I said, they ship worldwide. On checkout on the website, they have a little spot for a little promo discount code. Type in Crossroads. You get a nice little % discount off there on your order. So check them out today. Let them know Crossroads Sports sent you there. MavericksCustomMotorsports.com. All right, John, we are back. Last thing I have, and then we'll kind of actually got two things. We got two things. The Indianapolis Colts, John, have hired Jim Bob Cooter as their offensive coordinator. What a name.
Bro, right, bro. Jim Bakuder. Jim Bakuder. We brought Jim Bakuder back. He's a offensive-minded coach. Had done some work with Peyton Manning. Done some work with the Chargers back when Phil Rivers played for him. He's a long-time assistant, man. Coming back, man. And you know, if he stand by Peyton Manning, which he is, everybody in Indianapolis loves to hear that. So a new era starts. The coach, what's his name? Coach Steichen. What's his name?
Shane Steichen.
Steichen. Shane Steichen. He said he's calling the plays anyway, man. So we'll see if that remains true to form. But we got some new offensive minds in the coach locker room. So here we go. But not necessarily new, but yeah, a new for us for sure. So
correct. Yeah,
we know the name.
Daytona 500, John. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. wins in the longest Daytona 500, 210 laps with the cautions that were going on. But overall, I thought it was a good race. Exciting. Some big crashes there at the end. NASCAR season is underway. We've got a couple weeks away from the IndyCar season starting back up, Formula One starting back up. So our racing is about to fire back up. Indy 500 coming up in less than 100 days now. We're really excited about that.
Right.
So a lot of great things. Spring is in the air. Golf's going on. Liv has their first tournament this weekend. The PGA just put on a nice one this past weekend at the Genesis. Tiger was back. He made the cut. John Rahm is on a mission right now. He's won 5 of the last 9 tournaments.
Dude, you can't just glaze over racing like that. This is the home of the 500, man.
It is.
Does anybody know that Shaquille O'Neal is going to be in the snake pit?
Stop it.
You didn't, Brandon.
No, I knew it, but still.
Yeah, Shaquille O'Neal is coming to the 500. It's going to be in the snake pit. If you don't come to the Indianapolis 500 just for that alone, you know, plus Tony Kanaan, this is legit Tony Kanaan's last race.
Yeah.
So the Indianapolis 500 is going to be the place to be. We're going to have at some point Danny Bridges, you know what I'm saying, come on here and break all that down for us. I mean, not necessarily about Shaq, but about the Indianapolis 500, man. But I'm happy. I'm geeked about racing. The racing, you know what I'm saying, motor racing season coming back. Dude, I got into, it's a West Coast scene here. I got into motocross, dude. And hell, they're coming here sometime in March, man. So yeah, racing is in full swing, whether it's motorcycles or race cars. We are here for it.
Nice. So, all right. I don't have anything else. John, you got anything before wrapping us?
I don't, man. We had a pretty good show, man. Thanks, like I said, man. Thanks to our Mavericks Custom Motorsports. Thanks to Scott K. Nichols State Farm Insurance. Thanks to Waffle Logistics for making it all possible, man. How can we do it? We'll be back next week. Bigger, better than ever. Next week is a new month. February shorts month is terrible.
Sectional basketball starts next month or next week. So exciting.
Yeah. Right. Because you're going deep into college basketball. We're starting ready to hype it up. You know what I'm saying? Going into tournament time, and you know what I'm saying, NBA be getting more serious. Like LeBron says, he's got his next games are his most important of his whole career. So basketball turn up. Also, me and Brandon are going to be showing up on other folks' shows. We're going to be on the Epic.
Do we have a date yet for that?
We're working on a date. It's going to be next month.
Just keep me informed of that.
I would probably be ready next Wednesday. But man, me and Brandon will be on the Epic podcast coming up here pretty soon. Just, you know what I'm saying, there's some good friends of ours, man. You know what I'm saying? We're all a bunch of guys that like to talk about sports, and we're all know-it-all. So look for that. Outside of that, man, we'll be back bigger, better than ever next week. Like I said, me and Brandon will be on those sidelines, whether it's the MAC, the Horizon League, whether it's basketball, football, or golf, man. Check for us, Crossroads Sports. Thanks for listening.
Boiler up!
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes and the Google Play Store. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Crossroads Sports content.